Well, actually, for those less familiar, I'll take a step back. So, UN Women is the entity of the United Nations that focuses on gender equality. And one of the things we always say is equality isn't like a disease you can fix with a vaccine and raising a huge amount of money. It requires each and every one of us to shift our attitudes and behaviours to succeed. And actually, stereotypes are one of the biggest barriers worldwide to equality. And so the Unstereotype Alliance was born with that in mind. It was born about 5, 6 years ago, where UN Women convened the great and the good of the advertising media industry to say, let's be a force for good. The images, the stories, the characters you put out in the world, with the billions of dollars you put behind your campaigns to reach as many people as possible, have enormous power. And that power can be used for good or for bad. And let's use it for good. And so the Unstereotype Alliance is this global, it's a global movement. I'm the UK lead for our UK chapter, but it's a global movement, and it's this coalition of brands, agencies, tech platforms, media partners, publishers, who have all come together with the single goal of eliminating stereotypes from all advertising and media content. And we've got 230 plus and counting members globally. We have 12 chapters where we tackle stereotypes happening on the ground in countries all over the world, from the UK to Brazil to South Africa to Kenya to Argentina. So we're a growing movement, and we're really proud. We're really proud of what we've done. We're really proud of the changes and improvements we've made in the advertising and media industry. But of course, as with anything, and you'll know this, there's always much more that can be done. Well, we actually, we're very serious about measuring the progress we've made. We have something called the Unstereotype metric, which is a methodology that can measure the progress we're making, particularly on gender-based stereotypes. And we are seeing over the last 5 or so years that there has been an improvement in the visibility of women in ads. Cannes Lion will report highest presence of women in ads for several years. We're seeing in the UK more female creative directors than there were 2 to 3 years ago. We're at about 29% now, compared to 12% in 2018, I believe. So we are seeing improvements in different areas, and part of that is driven by, I think, more of an understanding and a need to do better and a want to do better by the advertising and media industries. As an Unstereotype Alliance initiative, we provide tools and training to our members at helping kind of tackle any internal biases or things that are hindering progress. So we're seeing we're seeing improvements in certain areas, particularly when it comes to visibility of women. We're seeing some incremental improvements in racial and ethnic representation. Where we know we need to work harder is on disability representation, representation of LGBTQI plus communities. So we've got a long way to go when we think about some characteristics. And that's an important point to make, actually, because while the Unstereotype Alliance is convened by UN Women, we don't just look at gender-based stereotypes. We tackle stereotypes in all of their diversity, whether it be religion, race, ethnicity, age. We also look at male-based stereotypes, that's something our South African chapter is very much looking at closely. So lots of improvements and things to be proud of in the last few years, but more to be done. Certainly, I would say, from the members that I speak to on a daily basis and members that are inquiring about being part of our movement on a daily basis, there is a desire, I think, from a lot more agencies, media companies, to be part of a movement like this. They know they need to do better. They know we need to do better as an industry. Because consumers are demanding it, employees are demanding it, so there is a desire and a will. I think one of the turning points for me in terms of persuading people to kind of come on this journey with us is when we're able to demonstrate, which we can, that Unstereotype is a creative unlock. It's good for business. It makes your advertising, your media campaigns more effective. And we know that because, as I mentioned before, we've been measuring progress through the Unstereotype metric for several years. And so we know that when you have, for example, a progressive female character front and center of your media or advertising campaign, it can increase brand power by 36%. That's not to be ignored. So I think when we start to communicate to people the business impact, you know, the positive impact on long and short-term brand goals like purchase intent, enjoyability, credibility, that's when that kind of aha moment clicks. Because of course I sit here as UN Women, and for us, you know, the benefit needs to be the impact we're having on those societal attitudes I mentioned up front. That's the ultimate goal. But also we know that brands and marketeers and businesses need to know the commercial benefit of Unstereotype. And so when we can demonstrate that and the creative unlock and the fact that consumers respond better to your campaigns when they are unstereotypical, that's the goal, that's the magic bullet for us. Yeah, it's one of the very first things we created as an alliance. Actually, we know how important awards are to the industry. You know, they matter.
Yes.
It's important that work is recognised, creativity is awarded. So we created the Unstereotype Judging Criteria, or UJC for short, and it's a set of guidelines, if you like, that jurors can read. And it educates them on the sorts of things to look out for when it comes to inequalities and stereotypes. So we've integrated this criteria into many award programs so far, such as the Cannes Lions, Dubai Links, Spikes Asia, the Lorries in South Africa, and delighted to be integrating them into the Festival of Media Awards. It's really important. And what we hope they do is, you know, what the thing with Unstereotype is we're never going to change those societal norms and attitudes one campaign at a time. We need systemic change to happen throughout the industry. And we believe impacting awards programs is one way to drive systemic change. So it means that we are awarding work that is unstereotypical and progressive, but it also means that when all of these jurors, hundreds of jurors around the world, are sat there judging campaigns, whether they be creative campaigns or media campaigns, they have this criteria to go by, and it helps them just kind of address their own biases that might be there. It helps educate about what stereotypes are. It means we're not awarding work that might be perpetuating any inequalities, and it puts stereotypes at the very heart of the creative and media process, because that's our ultimate goal, to rid the media industry and advertising industry of stereotypes. So we cannot be awarding work that may, inadvertently or not, be perpetuating any stereotypes. So it's a really crucial part of the work we do. Integrating into big awards programs with the reach that you have in the countries that you have. You know, we hope that, you know, each and every one of your jurors will read the Unstereotype criteria, as they will, because we'll educate them through the juror guidelines that you will send out. And it will just start to create more awareness and, you know, help us with the mandate. We've got lots on the agenda. You know, each of our chapters is running with its own work plan for 2023 and beyond, looking at what's needed in each country to help kind of move the dial, move the journey forward, eliminate stereotypes from advertising, from the workplaces. We're looking at doing more citizen-facing campaigns or consumer-facing campaigns, so we can raise awareness about stereotypes, you know, in our families, in our homes, in our schools, and educating people on how to become upstanders, not bystanders, when they're faced with a stereotype in their everyday lives. We would want to work more and more with media companies. Inclusive media and media buying practices is a really crucial part. It's not just about content creation, it's about what happens behind the scenes, it's about where our ads show up. And so we've got lots planned.